A little bit about what green jobs mean for the labor movement, and also about how this is, like, how do we make this into a movement that's going to start changing?
So let's talk about the green jobs for a moment. To me, a green job is a job that cannot be exported out of our country to China and elsewhere around the world. It entails taking a look at the energy sector, where we spend at least $40 billion a year importing energy into Ontario, whether it be oil, whether it be gas, whether it be any one of the fuels that they use to generate electricity and energy. There's a massive amount of potential here to be able to grow a green economy. For example, every time we would build a windmill, you've got 200 tons of steel go into the making of a windmill and 8,000 moving parts. They all have to be manufactured. We could have local procurement policies in place where they must be manufactured, 50-60% of them, or even all of them, must be manufactured right here at source. The steel would put steel workers back to work. There's a mountain of work there involved for welders, for example, in every windmill that you would build. That's just one example. Rapid transit, electric cars, electric transit, mass moving of people from here to the airports and to our universities. But I don't want to forget the public sector. For example, a universal childcare program in this country will generate 40,000 jobs. They're jobs that, again, cannot be exported. They happen right here and be right in our back door, in our communities, in all of our schools. If we bring in free university into this country, like they've got in 17 OECD countries, we will massively increase the participation levels of young people going in to have a post-secondary education. And at the same time, you have to build the infrastructure to house them. You put university professors into work. You put all kinds of people to work inside of our universities, for example. And it is highly affordable. They did it in the Republic of Ireland, where they built the Celtic Tiger, created the best educated young workforce in all of Europe, and massively the jobs flocked over to Ireland because they had an educated workforce. And that's what we need to be doing, is to be preparing people for the next generation of jobs, high-tech jobs, clean jobs, green jobs. That's what we need to be doing, and the best way of doing that is investing in post-secondary education. So I will say this much: you have to be careful that all of the investment is not just in the hard infrastructure. It has to be in the soft infrastructure, such as universities and such as childcare programs. In terms of building the movement, if I can answer that question, what I'm hearing and seeing here today is phenomenal. There's no question about it. I've been around a long time, and I'm beginning to see now the semblance of a real movement coming together, where you've got labour, you've got social activists, you've got poverty activists, environmentalists, all coming together in a room. Now, if we can tap that into the potential of the 700,000 unionised workers in this province through the Ontario Federation of Labour, then we can have a real mass movement. And a movement, in my opinion, has got to be about fighting for something, not necessarily against something. I'll give you examples. We fought years ago, and there was a movement for universal health care in Canada. Women fought for pay equity legislation, fairness in the workplace. They were movements that we could get in behind, that we fought for because they were positive and everybody knew what the goal was. And we're just opposing policies, or just opposing legislation, or opposing the business community, then we're not a movement and people don't see themselves as being part of it. We need some goals here. Green jobs for all is a wonderful goal for a movement to be able to achieve. Pensions, for example, we ought to be able to speak as a movement. Pensions for everybody, not just for those who belong to unions. 70% of workers in Ontario don't have a pension plan. So Labour and our environmental activists and our community activists and social justice activists all have to be speaking about pensions for everybody, and put the pressure on governments to say everybody should be able to retire with dignity, not just those who belong to a trade union. That's a movement. You can get people moving in that direction behind that goal. That's an amazing achievement if we could get that in the next 5 or 10 years. So that's what movements to me are about, is bringing in the collective together to raise everybody's standard of living and make sure that everybody has a good job, and then everybody can retire with dignity. That's what green jobs mean for me.